Matheran operates under one strict, non-negotiable rule: absolutely no cars. It's an automobile-free ecozone where every mile of travel requires your own physical effort. To get from the entry gate to the town center, you rely on your feet, or wait for this narrow-gauge toy train slowly winding through the red dirt and brown hills. Because motorized vehicles are banned, your entire travel itinerary is capped by a hard limit: your personal walking speed and your daily stamina. This creates a constant tension. You want to see the sweeping valley vistas, but you have to weigh that against the sheer physical cost of actually reaching the edge of those cliffs. Panorama Point is the ultimate test of this trade-off. It is widely considered the best place in the region to watch the sunrise. In Matheran, itinerary planning is an exercise in strict budget management, where physical energy is your primary currency. Look at this map of Matheran. If you start at the main market, Panorama Point is positioned at the extreme northern edge of the plateau. That red line represents a 6 to 7 kilometer hike. That is a solid hour and a half to 2 hours of walking just to reach the viewpoint. Now, factor in the return trip. You are looking at a 12 to 14 kilometer journey that will consume up to 4 hours of your day. If you are here for a standard weekend getaway, you only have about 48 hours of usable vacation time. You have to ask yourself if committing a third of your usable daylight to a single viewpoint makes sense, especially when there are half a dozen other viewpoints clustered much closer to the town center. Visiting Panorama Point is a major logistical commitment. It dictates how the rest of your day unfolds. Before committing, account for 3 costs: transit, amenities, seasonality. First, transit. Walking rocky pre-dawn paths drains stamina. Horseback rides introduce aggressive price negotiations and are physically jarring. Second, amenities. Because it's a strict ecozone, the cliff edge features exactly 0 food stalls, drinking water, or restrooms. This enforces a strict pack-in, pack-out reality. You have to carry the heavy water and snacks required for a 4-hour round trip on your own back. The cliff remains beautifully uncommercialized, but that pristine isolation is paid for directly through physical discomfort and a lack of basic hygiene facilities. The final cost is seasonality. Your return on investment is entirely dictated by the month you choose to visit. Between October and February, temperatures drop to a comfortable range, and dry air opens up massive, sweeping 360-degree views deep into the western Ghats. The trade-off for that guaranteed visibility is that you will be sharing that open cliff edge with moderate to high weekend crowds seeking the exact same shot. But if you visit in June during the monsoon season, the entire equation flips. You'll face temperatures pushing 90 degrees alongside heavy, relentless rains. Visually, the monsoon months turn these ridges into an uncrowded rainforest environment, punctuated by seasonal waterfalls. However, those heavy rains turn Matheran's red laterite soil into deep mud, making the long walking path dangerously slippery. The ultimate gamble is hiking 2 hours through the mud, only to arrive and find heavy fog has completely erased the famous panoramic view. A June visit changes the math, as the primary reward becomes the experience of the misty rainforest journey rather than the destination at the end of the trail. To match your itinerary to the reality of the trail, let's run through a practical decision tree, starting with the makeup of your group. If you are traveling with young children, seniors, or anyone with mobility issues, skip Panorama Point. The combination of a 14-kilometer round trip and 0 restroom facilities leads to inevitable exhaustion. Instead, route this group to Charlotte Lake. You get a high visual reward with a fraction of the physical effort. Next, consider the time-poor weekender visiting during the June monsoons. Risking 4 hours on a muddy trek for a view that might be totally fogged out is a poor investment of your limited hours. Pivot your schedule to closer spots like Echo or Louisa Point. If the weather turns bad, you haven't wasted your entire morning on the trail. Finally, there is the fit photographer traveling in clear weather. For this specific traveler, sacrificing sleep for a 5:30 a.m. start is the optimal choice to secure the definitive landscape shot of Matheran. Panorama Point is a specialized trek. It requires matching the right traveler to the right trail conditions to make the effort worthwhile. Matheran's actual charm lies in its slow, deliberate pace. Forcing a grueling trek that exceeds your group's capabilities will actively ruin that experience. The highest return on your investment comes when you align your ambition with your available time and physical stamina. But if your capabilities and the weather conditions align, Panorama Point offers an unrivaled, uncommercialized connection to the Western Ghats. The cost of admission is steep, but for those willing to pay it in sweat and time, the view remains unmatched.